Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I'm your host, as always, Harrison Graham. Give me a follow on Twitter at HGrahamNFL for more Bears news and updates over there. Let's talk some training camp news and notes. James Daniels is dealing with an injury. He left practice on Wednesday, and Matt Nagy said today that he has a quad injury. Didn't really expand, didn't really tell us much more in terms of how long he is going to be out, other than he will not practice today, which the Bears are practicing right now as I film this, so he is not out there. And as you guys know, he missed most of last year with a pec injury, and with him entering a contract year, set to be a free agent after 2021, this is not ideal either for him or for the Bears. The Bears need him healthy, and he needs to have a good and healthy season so he can earn a second contract. If he's banged up a lot of this year, Bears are probably just going to let him walk, and they'll go in a new direction at guard next offseason. But if he's good and productive and continues to play well, which he has when he has been healthy, that'll be a good thing. So hopefully he's back sooner rather than later. You kind of look at where this offensive line is right now. There's been mixed reviews coming out of camp due to those injuries. Teven Jenkins has missed time. Wilkinson was placed on the COVID list. Jermaine Ifedi has missed some time as well. So obviously this is a team that needs to get better up front based on how they played last year, which they've tried to do this offseason, but these guys keep staying injured because Daniels is out, Jenkins is out, Ifedi's missed time, and other guys have been banged up as well. Plenty of time, but preseason games get going just next week. Are you worried about James Daniels? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Get your votes in down in the comments section. I'm fairly worried, especially coming off an injury-riddled season in 2020. So he's banged up. You got him sidelined for now. Hopefully, like I said, it's just a day-to-day situation, and he's back very, very soon. I'm maybe even more concerned and worried about Teven Jenkins because it's harder to plug and play at left tackle than it is at right guard. He remains out with back tightness. Now, there's no ruptured disc or anything like that. I don't think this is a huge long-term worry, but again, something we've talked about a couple of times. He needs reps. He's a rookie tackle set to play left tackle. He needs to be out there. He needs to be, getting reps against Khalil Mack, against Robert Quinn, and get those experiences to get ready for the regular season, which, unfortunately, he has not been able to get any of that stuff right now because he's dealing with a stiff back. How confident are you in this Bears offensive line as it sits today? Scale it from 1 to 10, 10 being super confident, 1 being not so much. I don't know, 4 or 5. I mean, I think when fully healthy, I'd feel it'd be at about a 7. I think it'll be a better group than last year, but I mean, based on this literal second, I'm going to have to type like a 4. So let me know what you guys think down below. Today's show is sponsored by BetUS, the #1 sports betting partner in the game. And guys, preseason is here. You got the Hall of Fame game tonight between the Cowboys and the Steelers, and then the Bears play next week. So here's what I want you to do. Go to chatsports.com/Bears. Got to use our link. Use our promo code BEARDOWN, all one word, to get a 125% deposit bonus. And then go gamble on the first game of the preseason for the Chicago Bears. The Bears are currently 3.5-point favorites. The total over-under against the Dolphins, only 35.5 points. I know it's preseason, it gets sloppy. I'm hammering the over, though. I think Justin Fields can get a couple of touchdowns in this game. Bet on the Bears, bet on the over, go make some money during the first preseason game at chatsports.com/Bears. Use that promo code BEARDOWN, all one word, to get a 125% deposit bonus. But you have to use our link, chatsports.com/Bears. Speaking of Justin Fields, my goodness, the hype train just continues to leave the station as Louis Riddick continues to hype him up as well. Hopped on Get Up this morning and talked a lot about Justin Fields and what's going on at Bears training camp. He literally said that Fields is blowing their minds, and there being Matt Nagy, this coaching staff, the front office, everyone involved. Obviously, Andy Dalton remains QB1. He's performed well overall at camp as well, but Justin Fields is coming. There is no doubt about that. Here's what Riddick had to say. Pretty lengthy quote here, but I thought it was all good stuff. From day one, since he has gotten there, they could not be happier and more ecstatic about his level of commitment, his attention to detail, his football IQ, his willingness and desire to eliminate all distractions, his leadership, his poise, his swagger, his respect toward Andy Dalton. I can just tell you this. It has them freaking ecstatic. It's just a matter of when do they pull that cover off of him and just let him go. Matt Nagy wants to play it safe with him because he wants him to be great, and I get that. I just think at some point they're just going to have to say, just put him in there because he is blowing their minds. Justin Fields is going to be the truth, and we've talked about this since the Bears drafted him. His mindset has been supreme. His play has been outstanding. His attacking of the playbook and putting football first is exactly what you want when you trade up and draft what you're hoping is your franchise quarterback, and he continues to get better and better on the field every single day at camp. Those first couple of days where he was struggling a little bit seemed like a lifetime ago. He's a rookie. That's going to happen. Now he's throwing darts. Now he's being confident. He's playing at a very, very high level in camp. Andy Dalton, to his credit, has been very good as well, but Fields is coming, and he's coming very, very quickly. Subscribe to Chicago Bears now. We're closing in on 30,000 subscribers. Less than 500 away. Help us get there before the first preseason game. I think we can. Share that link below with a friend. It's youtube.com/BearsNow. I will continue to provide the latest Chicago Bears news and rumors throughout training camp and the preseason, and, of course, into the regular season. Justin Fields, we show the numbers all the time. What he did at Ohio State, I mean, him falling to number 11, I continue to just not understand how that even happened with his dynamic ability as a passer. We know about his mobility as well. We've seen a couple of clips throughout training camp where he's making throws on the run, throwing sidearm throws like he's Patrick Mahomes as well. There is no reason to not be excited. Sure, if you want to pump the brakes and say, hey, I want to see him play in a game first, that's fine, but the reports coming out of camp are tremendous. Louis Riddick has good connections in the Bears organization. He's tight with Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. If he's hearing that he's blowing their minds, I believe it. I don't think there's any reason to doubt what Riddick is saying about Justin Fields. Now, what game will Fields make his first start in the regular season? Not talking preseason, regular season, obviously. Will it be week 1? Will it be week 4 against the Lions? Later on in the season, let me know which game you believe Justin Fields will make his first start for the Chicago Bears. Quick news that we hit on a short yesterday, and by the way, let me know in the comments if you liked that little short we did on Alec Ogletree. Give me your thoughts on that, but wanted to expand a little bit here. 1-year deal, as we discussed yesterday. Only played in a couple of games last year, but had a good track record before that. 4 straight years of 80-plus tackles. Not great in coverage. Certainly not going to blitz a bunch and give you a lot of sacks. But I think as an LB3 or 4, gives you more depth and competition behind Roquan Smith and Danny Trevathan is certainly a good thing. Christian Jones, I think, will make this team. Ogletree, I've got him in there as LB4 right now. We'll see what Iggy and Josh Woods end up doing in terms of competing as well. But I like the competition, the depth at that position. I'd like Chicago to sign an offensive tackle, but that's neither here nor there. Alec Ogletree in on a 1-year deal with Chicago. He's still only 29, former first-round pick with the St. Louis Rams before they moved to L.A. So we'll see what he brings to the table. Obviously, it's early on in the process. Got to see him out there, throw the pads on and fly around a little bit. But if he can get back to 2018, 2019 form where he still was pretty productive, then as a depth linebacker, that is certainly a very good thing. Grade the signing, A, B, C, D, or F. How do you feel about Alec Ogletree joining the Chicago Bears? It's a B. It's cheap. It's depth. There's certainly nothing wrong with this one. Before we sign off, make sure you subscribe. Don't miss any of our coverage here on Chicago Bears Now. We're just ramping things up as the regular season is just around the corner. Plus, we are going to do a watch party for the first preseason game against the Miami Dolphins, so do not miss that, and don't miss any of our videos between now and then. It's youtube.com/BearsNow.